personalized dog training, and right now I'm working with Ula, and Ula is with us for the next 4 weeks. She's going to be learning some obedience and a little bit of advanced obedience, mostly a lot of off-leash stuff. She likes to run, she does like to run away, and she likes to pull, so she can't do that with her owners. So we're also going to be teaching her calmness. So she's been with us for about a day and a half, and we've already been working on some laps with her. Just no prong collar. Now we just earlier introduced the prong collar and some food protocols. So we like to teach the dogs the marker words, and we love to get dogs out walking. So the dogs here do around about 100 laps a day. So that's a lot of laps. They're here for 28 days. So they get tons and tons of walking under their belt. So every dog that's here does that many laps. Antonio and Lauren and me can all contest to having to do a ton of laps with these dogs. That does not include their training or even their exercise, really. All right, so we already started conditioning Ula on the prong collar, so let's go ahead and start getting her walking outside. So we did everything else inside. There's already a video of that. So we're gonna start to just walk her a little bit here. We're also gonna be teaching her that every time we stop, she sits. All right, so I'm not too concerned about her positioning right now. We'll fix all of that later on. As you can see, she does have some reactivity towards like random strange sounds. And I think you said cars sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes cars she'll kind of be reactive, and definitely dogs. So she's definitely rude when she sees other dogs. She just kind of starts to bark. She doesn't have any dog aggression or people aggression or any aggression. She's just really rude about it. And it's scary when you have a German Shepherd coming at you. But otherwise, she's actually a pretty good good dog overall. She's not aggressive, I should say. She's being a little butt. So I like to just kind of walk around and almost kind of like when we condition the dog, right? I just kind of go little loops back and forth, give little tugs. Remember, pressure on, the dog's doing something wrong. Pressure off, the dog's doing something correct. So you want to make sure that there is basically a J in the leash at all times if you're not trying to communicate to the dog something. So you saw she tried to, did you bend down for that?
No.
She was trying to smell, and I gave a small correction, and then I made sure there was a J back in the leash. Can you see that, Danielle?
Yes.
Right. So when she gets ahead of me, right now, I'm gonna keep kind of turning around, and we call it a reset. So usually a normal reset would be like a few steps. So like, let's just pretend we just walk this way, and then we walk back this way. We just resetted the dog. So we do that sometimes. In this case, I'm kind of doing like a large reset. So I don't need to go on a long walk. We spend a lot of time, just going
walking.
Maybe 5 squares sometimes.
Not even.
So, going back and forth, because as long as she's behind us, we're fine here. So right now she's doing good. So I'm gonna turn again. She went a little bit ahead of me. Good. And what I want her to do is follow me on her own. And make sure if you're doing this on your own, when you do the turn, it's the most important part and kind of sometimes the most hardest part, because when you turn, you like to pull. So like, see how I'm kind of pulling there? You don't want to do that. You want to make sure that the leash still has that J, or you're giving the leash constantly slack, where you're giving that little tug and release, tug and release. Let's see if I can kind of show you if she pulls. So she came. There you go. And do you notice I'm not looking at her? So I have no idea what she was even doing. I just know she stopped. Who cares? Keep moving. Give her small tugs. See? Small tugs. Hey, pay attention to me. Come this way. Again, I'm not super concerned about her positioning right this second. See? Tug, release. And again, you don't need to worry about the dog. So some dogs are easier than others. Some dogs are harder than others. I would be going further, but I don't want Antonio to run into the car. Good. She actually kind of turned there. So I could have waited a second to allow her to turn. I want her to win. This is the learning process. This isn't like a normal training session. So if you're doing this with your own personal dog, this isn't like having a trainer with you for an hour where you have to kind of, make some improvements right away. I'm looking for small, tiny improvements. I don't need her to be a good walker right now. So I just need her to be improving. Good. See, saw that? That was great. And again, don't pay attention to her. If she's not following you, give her a little tug. And right now, like I said, you might see me give her a little small tug to slow her down because she's starting to respond a little bit better now. but I don't mind doing this, again, kind of a larger reset. But again, we take our time. Take your time. There's no need to rush this. None, zero. And you can see, I'm not looking at her. I'm just walking. Now, what we like to add right away is we want to teach the dog what constant pressure means. What does constant pressure mean? That means put your butt down. So I'm going to put constant pressure on her collar, and I'm going to gently put 2 or 3, good, 2 or 3 fingers on her butt like this, and gently push her butt down. As soon as her butt goes down, you see I release that pressure instantly. Let's say she got back up right away. Who cares? So like that. So I'll just apply pressure, release. See? She didn't even put her butt all the way down yet. I want her to understand as soon as she feels that constant pressure like that, she instantly puts her butt down. And if it takes me a few times to do this, then so be it. I don't need to hold that pressure. I want her to know that she can turn it off instantly. Good. Good job. See? As soon as she goes down, even if she gets back up again, who cares? A lot of times, clients especially, or even some trainers, they're like, well, she's not putting her butt all the way down. That's all right, she'll get it. She's just learning this. I just taught her this as you're watching. So it's okay that it takes time. I want her to figure that out. Oh, if I put my butt down, that pressure goes away as fast as possible. The faster you release that pressure, the faster she's gonna actually learn that basically silent command here. All right, now, before we start the walk, good, see how I had to do it more than once? Before we start the walk, I do left leg first. All this does is eventually cue the dog that we're going to walk. Now she's not, but don't worry about it. She will look at you eventually. So you have to practice this a little bit. Hula, okay, and then start to walk. And if she goes to go ahead of you, you can either give her small tugs, okay, or you can do that little spin reset. I like to stop the dog before it gets to my leg. So kind of correct the thought, not the crime. So in this case, the crime is walking past my leg. So there's a few reasons why at Blazes we do this. One, what happens is good girl. What happens is the dog, okay, if it's a client especially, when they're doing the work, if I allow them to be here, when we're finished training, or I stop coming for a while, the dog ends up being here. If I have the dog back here, by the time we're finished training, the dog will be here, and then by the time I haven't been here, the dog will eventually be around this area. So we're not concerned about her being a perfect heel, but I want her to be in this area. Another reason why we do this, in cases like her, who she might be a little bit more reactive, if I can keep the dog, good girl, if I can keep the dog a little bit behind my leg, I can stop her full field of vision here. She won't be able to see everything because I'll be blocking her. So now I only have to worry about this area. I don't have to worry about all of this. So it really does help with training. So it helps with that reactivity because now I just need to be concerned about this area. Good. So it's really important. See, like even now, she's only worrying about behind me. She can't see over here. Well, now she's smelling me. But you can see here how important it is to keep that dog behind you a little bit. It really does help with that reactivity because now you don't have to have that 360 degree where you have to correct or you have to worry about her seeing. All right, okay. So I'm gonna reset her a little bit here. Easy. All right, let's get back to walking. So, hula, okay. Now, again, don't worry about going on a 2-mile walk. Let's just get a few steps. So even if I just go back and forth here, a few little squares, and practice sitting, and practice keeping her behind me a little bit, practice patience even, all that stuff. That's what's important right now in the beginning of the walk. You don't need to just jump the gun. So we do all this here at Blazes. So I'm Blaze, this is Ula. This is kind of like a little tutorial on how we start dogs off at our board and train and also start setting them up for really successful walking. All right, thanks for watching.